Well, hello and welcome to Waterproofing Wisdom. My name is Ben and I'm the Technical Director at CLW. And today I wanted to talk to you about competence. So earlier this month, I looked at a double-story basement in London where somebody had bought this very expensive home for around 4 or 5 million. And only 3 months later, it was flooding. And they'd had a pre-purchase survey done by a chartered surveyor, and they'd done a home buyer's report, and that home buyer's report made no mention whatsoever of basement waterproofing. And I looked at it and I thought, gosh, this guy doesn't realize that he doesn't know. So this chartered surveyor had looked at it and hadn't realized the enormous risk of basement waterproofing in effectively an iceberg kind of basement property. So before I got there, I saw this image, which was quite kind of alarming, but it's only the screed and the latex covering, which had cracked because the insulation had floated. And here's all the underfloor heating, which we're trying not to disturb too much. And it's a disaster. And obviously somebody who's bought a home, a very expensive home, is not very happy. So I wanted to look at this competence, and I came across this diagram, and it's interesting to me that you can have this realm where you don't really know what you don't know. You're unconscious that you're incompetent. I don't really like the incompetent there. You're unconscious that you're unaware. And I think the chartered surveyor was in that realm where he didn't even know that he didn't know about waterproofing. And from there, you could move into a realm where you know you don't know. You've realized that basement waterproofing is a complex issue, and you know that you don't have the skills to be looking at it. I think that's a really healthy place to be. And from there, you could get some training and do some exams and things like that. And you might realize, okay, I'm now competent. I'm competent to do this in terms of basement waterproofing. This, to be honest, I think that's very rare, that you don't even have to think about it. I know that I have to think through waterproofing very carefully when I want to get it right, which is, well, all the time. You never want it to go wrong, do you? So I wanted to share this. Oh, my screen's too big to show you this, which I'll move that all the way over here. Any big professional body has rules. They're rules of professional conduct or codes of conduct. And ICE have rule 2, which says all members shall only undertake work that they are competent to do. Similarly, REBA have a whole principle around competence, which includes this phrase: members shall realistically appraise their ability and resources to undertake and complete any proposed work. And so I think as professional people, we have this difficult task of realizing and being aware of what can I do and what can't I do. And the truth is that any chartered engineer or architect is very knowledgeable, normally very experienced, very competent in what they do. But the thing is, basement waterproofing is not normally what they do, and it is a niche area, and a lot of the time they aren't competent, in my experience, to do basement waterproofing. So I thought I'd try and think through, well, how would I know if I was competent? And that is an issue that I come across a lot, especially in expert witness work, where someone's saying, will you be an expert in this? And I'm like, I know about that, but am I happy calling myself an expert? So it's something that you need to think through. So here are some questions that might help you think through if you're competent. Number 1, have you had any specialist training? So with basement waterproofing, have you had any training that is specifically about basement waterproofing? The sort of the bare minimum, I think, is a course run by the PCA, and it's a 3-day course, which goes on to an examination, which gives you a CSSW accreditation. So that's a 3-day course, which is quite intense, with a 1-day exam, and it's a written exam and an oral exam. You know, have you done that? Number 3, have you got relevant experience? So you might have your CSSW, but you haven't done basements of this magnitude or this complexity or this nature. And then number 4, have your peers checked your work? Has somebody in the industry also looked at your work and said, you're mostly right. That I think you're missing something on. And I think if you can't look at those four things and say, yep, I'm covered, I'd be very hesitant to say I'm competent. And I think that goes back to knowing what stage you are in that learning. Are you unconsciously ignorant, or are you conscious that you're ignorant, or are you knowledgeable enough and therefore competent? And I would say if you aren't acutely aware that basement waterproofing is very difficult, it's awkward, and it's high risk, then I would suggest you're unconsciously ignorant and you're not a competent person in that niche area. So thank you for watching. If we can be of assistance, get in touch. With CLW, we are independent waterproofing consultants. We do design, we do defect diagnosis, we do expert witness. Thank you for watching.